Hytale is finally playable. After years of waiting, trailers, theories, and delays, we can actually play the game. I've spent hours in the pre-release, and by the end of this video, you'll know if Hytale is actually a good game, or if it still needs a lot of work. And yeah, this is a pre-release. The first thing you notice when you load into a Hytale is the world. Everything is so beautiful, like you have shaders pre-installed. There are a bunch load of creatures and they all move naturally. There are so many structures and that's so good for exploration. At this point I was thinking, okay, this is actually amazing. Let me try to craft something. Where is my crafting table? So let's move visuals aside and test how this game is played. Hytale combat is pretty basic. You can attack, block and attack, and keep attacking to charge a super ability. There are different weapons with different features, such as daggers, which are fast but deal less damage, normal swords that have attack speed and damage normalized, such as battle axes, actual swords and blades. Then the heavy weapons that take a lot of time to swing but deal massive damage, and ranged weapons. There is just the bow and the crossbow. But even with such a simple yet effective combat system, the game is so hard. Once you learn how to block and attack perfectly, once you learn how to block and fight, you can maybe survive longer, but that's still not enough, because there is still a fundamental mechanic that you need to understand if you want to survive. At this point, you understand that Hytale is a pretty difficult game once you start. You can craft weapons easily from the inventory, but to craft bigger things and upgrade your gear, you will need the crafting bench table. In here, you just need to have the materials needed and click whatever you want to craft. You can also craft other tables such as the furnace and so many more tables. These all have different purposes. Back to the crafting table, you can upgrade it to craft more things. There is tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3. So if you play this like Minecraft, the game will humble you very quickly. The game has a progression system with zones harder than the last. For example, when I started my first world, I went far and saw this island in the middle of a giant lake. This was a pretty hard zone and I went in with stone tools. Then I realized once I slowed down and stopped rushing, the game completely changed. But not everything works as smoothly as it should. About the bugs, I don't think they are game breaking. Sure, you can glitch onto walls and travel faster, but unless you are intentionally doing this, it's not gonna happen on a normal playthrough. And about the jumping king, you could get a little mad about losing the boss like that, but that's the only thing I found. So, is it unplayable? No, absolutely not. The game runs fine, sometimes it lags, but for it to look this good and optimized, it's totally playable. So with all that said, is Hytale worth playing right now? Yes, for 20 bucks you can get a game that has a ton of content, is entertaining, has a creative mode where you can create maps, servers where you can play, and more content coming to the game. Like the latest update added dinosaurs, and a lot more things. It has a lot of potential to become an even more popular game, and maybe it's exactly what we needed to wake Mojang up. Please make the end update already. There's a lot more that I have planned for this game, so consider subscribing and use the code 3CKHD if you're planning to buy the game. It helps me a lot. And also, what do you think of the game? Do you think it has a chance against Minecraft? Let me know.